fair, complained Violet. Why do I have to fix everything he messes up? She just turned 8, and her little brother was 4. Most of the time, she hated being the bigger kid. They were supposed to be driving to school, but instead they were driving on a giant donut in outer space. Jasper couldn't stop giggling. You know why, their mom Terry answered. She tried to sound patient, but she was especially tired that morning. Because some of the things he can't change back yet, and you are the only other god around here. I know, but it's still not fair. If I could fix it, believe me, I would, said Terry, and he's still learning. Violet changed everything back to normal. They were now driving on Daisy Street, just a couple minutes from school. Jasper was disappointed. Honey, remember, only change things you can change back, all right? Terry said to him. Jasper didn't answer, but Terry knew he could hear her. She checked the circles under her eyes in the rearview mirror. She didn't know how she was going to get through the day at the office with all those corporate meetings scheduled. Of course, she would have preferred if her 2 precious little gods didn't change anything at all, but she already learned that some battles you just can't win, especially against small children who happen to have unlimited divine powers. So, her only 2 rules were, only change 1 thing a day, and whatever you change, you have to change back within 5 minutes. If they change things for too long, there's a chance it might become permanent. Jasper was a good boy, and he was learning, but of course he just couldn't understand everything about his powers yet. Luckily, Violet had always been able to change everything back for him if he couldn't. So far. It was a lot harder when Violet was little. There was no one else who could change things back for her. Sometimes it took Terry hours to explain to her what everything is supposed to be like again. Luckily, her powers were a lot weaker back then, not like now. But Jasper, his powers are already almost fully developed. After school, Terry was cooking dinner and the kids were playing in the backyard. Except the backyard now was a gorgeous mountainside with a fairy castle on it, with dragons flying by and unicorns grazing on the grass peacefully. But it was okay. This was Violet's one change for the day. Jasper was laughing as a little goblin ran out of the castle to play tag with him. The 5 minutes were up soon enough, so Violet changed everything back. Except something felt off. She looked around. Everything looked normal, but something definitely was not right. Jasper giggled. "What did you do?" asked Violet, or more so, she attempted to ask. What she actually said sounded like this. "Pony with simple shoe?" She gasped. "You changed the meaning of the words?" she exclaimed, which sounded like this. "Simple ball candy pigeons than candy mistakes?" Jasper laughed so hard, tears started coming out of his eyes. "Best! Simple phone think scented feeling balls flowersy!" "Jasper, you already had your one change for today." She was furious. "Apple jump!" Not fair. Jasper was having the best time of his life as he was rolling on the soft grass from laughing. "Round radio apple cookies clouds!" "Mom will not be happy." But Jasper didn't care. This was the most fun he'd ever had. Violet's frustration soon turned into anxiety. The reality of the situation hit her. She can't turn everything back how it was before since she didn't know all the words. And the more time passes, the more permanent the change will be. She was panicking. "Pony with simple shoe best?" "What did you do, Jasper?" She was sweating heavily. The first thing she did was to stop time. This was going to take a while. She created a paper and pen out of thin air and started writing down the words she knew and changed them back. An hour passed, then 2. Time was still stopped, and Jasper was bored out of his mind, so after a while, Violet let him open a pocket dimension where he could create miniature planets, asteroids, and comets, then destroy them with tiny supernovas. And soon she was done. She couldn't think of any more words, but she knew there were a lot more of them she was supposed to change back. But what was she supposed to do? She was only 8 after all. Her mind was racing. It seems like there was no fixing this. Soon after she starts time again, the change will be permanent. What did you do, Jasper? She knew that Terry would be so mad she would ground her for a month, and this wasn't even her fault. Unless... The thought filled her heart with new hope. She won't tell her mom! She has been such a good girl up until now. Maybe just once she can be naughty too. After all, who's going to notice?